Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. After three extensive, long, tiring sessions about blood glucose regulation, today we will be relaxing with a small topic that is absorption of iron. Coming to the introduction, through the diet, usually 1 to 2 milligrams of iron is absorbed per day, but it is in ferric form. Then the iron is absorbed in the duodenum and the proximal jejunum and the duodenum. These are the sites where the iron is absorbed. But we have to remember that this absorption of iron takes place in ferrous state, not in ferric state. We will be discussing about these things, why and how. So coming to the next slide, and this absorption occurs in three phases. That is the most important thing. So the let's see the first. So coming to the first phase, which is the luminal phase, where the ferric form of the iron through the diet reaches the intestinal lumen, but for the absorption into the intestinal cells, the ferric form needs to be converted into ferrous form. For this conversion, we need the enzyme ferric reductase. Ferric reductase present in the duodenum reduces the ferric ion to ferrous ion, but for this enzyme, it needs cytochrome B. Once the reduction happens, ferrous ions are available. These reach to the brush border of the intestinal mucosal cell. At this brush border of the intestinal mucosal cell, there is a protein called as DMT1. DMT1, which is nothing but divalent metal transporter 1. So now you know why iron needs to be in ferrous form. Here the valency is 2. Here the divalent means divalent metal. That is the metals having the valency of 2. What are the other metals having 2? Calcium, copper and even lead. So even these three also enter into the intestinal mucosal cell through divalent metal transporter 1. So whenever you're taking foods that are rich in both calcium and iron, the calcium will competitively inhibit the ferrous ions and enter into the cell, and the iron will not be absorbed. Hence, the foods containing iron and the calcium should not be taken at the same time. So these three act as competitive inhibitors to the iron absorption because of single divalent metal transporter 1. So from the lumen, the iron molecules, the iron ions, the ferrous ions enter into the mucosal cell, and whatever iron ions are not absorbed, they are excreted. So that is the luminal phase. Now coming to the next phase. The second phase is inside the intestinal cell, that is mucosal cellular phase. The ferrous ions have entered into the mucosal cell via the DMT1 protein. Inside the cell, these ferrous ions are again converted into ferric ions, oxidized. These ferric ions combine with the apoferritin to form ferritin. The ferritin is the temporary storage form of iron. So ferritin contains Fe3 plus ferric ions, and this ferritin, depending on the body needs, can be releasing the ferrous ions. Suppose in conditions like anemia, where the iron levels are less in the blood, the ferritin will release the iron, and the iron will be coming out of the intestinal cells into the blood circulation as ferrous forms. Or else whenever the body doesn't need and the body has saturated the iron stores, that means large amounts of iron is already stored in the body as ferritin, then the absorption is inhibited. That is the mucosal block. So that finishes the second phase of absorption, what is happening inside the intestinal cell. That means basically it is being stored. Depending on the needs, it can be either released or it can be dumped during this desquamation, the iron is lost. If it is in excess, absorption is stopped. So these are the three phases. Released into circulation, if saturated, absorption is stopped, or if cells are desquamated regularly, iron is lost. So finally, the third phase and the final phase is the basolateral phase. Now we are talking about the basolateral side of the membrane. On the basolateral side of the membrane, there is something called as ferroportin. So far, the iron is in the form of Fe3 plus stored as ferritin. When the body needs iron, it has to be transported out into the blood circulation. So for that, at first the ferritin has to release the iron. So ferritin will release the iron in the form of ferrous ions. These ferrous ions they reach the basolateral membrane. When they reach the basolateral membrane, they reach the ferroportin. At this ferroportin, there is something called as hephaestin. Hephaestin, while exiting, will oxidize this ferrous form back to ferric form, and then it enters into the blood circulation. Why is it? Because the transport protein of iron present in the blood, that is transferrin, accepts the iron only in the ferric form. Just like absorption needs Fe2 plus because of DMT1, the iron is needs to be in Fe3 plus state, that is the ferric state, because transferrin can accept only iron only in the ferric state. That is the reason this oxidation reduction are being happening. And there is something called as celluloplasmin. Ceruloplasmin. Ceruloplasmin also converts the ferrous form to ferric form, but this is happening in blood circulation. So hephaestin is oxidizing the ferrous form to ferric form at the base of lateral membrane at the ferroportin stage, whereas the ceruloplasmin in the blood reoxidizes the ferrous form to ferric form. Then the transferrin comes and binds to the ferric form, and the transferrin will transport the ferric form to wherever it is needed. So to summarize the whole thing in a single image. So from the diet we get from Fe3 plus state, ferric state, it is absorbed in duodenum and the proximal jejunum. In the lumen, from the luminal phase, the ferric form will be converted to ferrous form by ferric reductase, which needs cytochrome B. The ferrous ions enter into the mucosal cell via DMT1, a divalent metal transporter-1. The rest which is not absorbed is excreted. Inside the mucosal cell, the ferrous ion is again oxidized to ferric ion, it combines with the apoferritin to form ferritin. Then, whenever the body needs, the ferritin will release the ferric ions in the form of ferrous ions. The ferrous ions will get reoxidized to ferric ions by hephaestin at the basolateral membrane, where the ferroportin is present. Once they are inside the circulation, the remaining ferrous ions, if any, are reoxidized with the help of celluloplasmin. Finally, all the iron which is reoxidized to ferric form combines with the transferrin and it transports the iron through the blood wherever it is needed. So, thank you for listening.